All right, let's just jump right in. We are constantly, and I mean constantly, flooded with information, with opinions, with noise. So how in the world are we supposed to build better judgment? Well, today, we're going to explore this really powerful metaphor that completely reframes the challenge. Thinking of our mind not as some computer you just fill up with data, but as a garden that you have to cultivate.
And that brings us to the central question, right? The one we all have to ask ourselves. Is your mind a place where new ideas can actually take root and flourish, or has it become a place where clear thinking just gets suffocated? It's a provocative thought for sure, but it's the key to everything that follows.
Because here's the thing. Learning isn't just a passive act of consuming facts. It's not like downloading a file. It is an active process. It means you have to prepare the ground, you have to plant the right seeds, and you gotta pull the weeds. It is a process of deliberate, careful cultivation.
So let's start with the absolute foundation, preparing the ground. We have to create the essential conditions where wisdom and clear thinking can actually begin to grow.
The first and, honestly, the most important ingredient is humility. Now, this isn't about weakness, it's about creating space. Think about it. An arrogant mind is like a closed-off, stony patch of ground. Nothing can grow there. But a humble mind, one that can actually admit it doesn't have all the answers, well, that mind becomes spacious, receptive. It sees not knowing as an opportunity, not a failure.
And this quote from Thomas Sowell just nails it. It takes considerable knowledge just to realize the extent of your own ignorance. What he's telling us is that true knowledge actually reveals just how much more there is to learn. So you see, humility isn't a sign of ignorance at all. It's a hallmark of wisdom. It's the gatekeeper to any deeper understanding.
Okay, so if humility prepares the soil, then curiosity, well, that's the seed itself. It's that active, driving force to ask why, to seek out answers, and to just wonder about the world. Spinoza believed that to understand is to be free, not free from responsibility, but free from illusion. And curiosity is the engine that drives that freedom.
Next up, the roots have to grow deep, and that requires independence. In an age where information is literally everywhere, the responsibility to make sense of it all is on us. This isn't about being some kind of rebel for the sake of it. It's about the quiet refusal to let other people do your thinking for you. The bottom line is, you have to be your own filter.
And finally, for our plant to grow strong and tall, it needs a stem. That's principle. Instead of chasing a million different methods or fads, a person who really grasps a few core principles can navigate the world so much more effectively. It gives your thinking structure, direction, a backbone.
So let's just recap for a second. On one side, you've got the fertile soil, built on humility, curiosity, independence, and principle. And on the other, you have its exact opposite, a poisoned ground, a place created by lies, conformity, and these consensus traps. Now, let's talk about how to spot and uproot these threats.
Because here's the thing, it's not enough to just cultivate the good stuff. We also have to be ruthless gardeners, right? We have to identify and pull out all the toxic elements that can completely ruin our mental soil.
And there are three main poisons we really need to watch out for. First, lies. And I'm not just talking about single falsehoods, but a constant flood of them. Second, conformity. That subtle but immense pressure to just go along with the crowd. And third, consensus traps, which is what happens when we start believing something is true simply because everyone else seems to agree that it is.
Hannah Arendt offers a chilling warning here. She observed that the true goal of constant propaganda isn't really to make you believe a lie, is to exhaust you so much that you just stop believing in the existence of truth altogether. And when that happens, well, learning becomes impossible.
If 40 million people say a foolish thing, it does not become a wise one. This hits on the danger of conformity and consensus so perfectly. Popularity is not a measure of truth. We often feel safer in a crowd, but as Mamam points out, a crowd can be collectively and spectacularly wrong. Your own independent judgment is the only real defense against this.
So we've prepared the soil, and we've identified the poisons. Now, how do we actually tend to the garden day to day? Well, for that, we need the right tools. Tools for discernment.
This quote from Clay Shirky just perfectly reframes the modern problem. He says the issue isn't that there's too much information out there. The real issue is that our ability to sort the valuable from the worthless, our mental filter, has broken down.
Which, of course, leads us to the most practical question of all. What are the specific actions we can take right now to build these filters back up and protect our minds from all that noise?
Okay, here are 6 essential tools for your toolkit. Number 1, definition. Before you even debate a topic, insist on clear terms. Like Socrates said, the beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms. Number 2, skepticism with humility. This means questioning new information, absolutely, but also constantly questioning yourself. Always be alert to the possibility that you might be wrong. 3, filtering. This is the active, daily process of separating the important signal from all the distracting noise. 4, develop judgment. This is the crucial skill of knowing which facts are vital and which ones you can safely ignore. Not all information is created equal. 5, stress testing. Ask those probing questions about any claim. Compared to what? At what cost? What's the actual evidence? And finally, number 6, and this is the big one, practice radical openness. Your goal isn't to win an argument. It's to understand the topic so deeply that you could argue the other side's point of view even better than they can.
And this brings us to the final, crucial takeaway. This isn't some checklist you complete once and you're done. A garden is never finished. Cultivating your mind is a beautiful, lifelong practice.
Look, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Wisdom isn't something you find. It's not something you can download like an app. It has to be nurtured, protected, and deliberately grown, season after season, through your own effort.
So the final thought I want to leave you with is this. Every article you read, every conversation you have, every idea you encounter, it's a seed being offered to you. The question is, what kind of garden are you cultivating, and what will you choose to grow?